Camila Valieva's return. Now, Dobrafon is an organization in Russia that helps support sport funding, and it provides media coverages for different sports, particularly sponsoring Kamila Valieva's return. Now, they did a whole YouTube series on their YouTube channel about Kamila Valieva's return. Today, we're going to break this down into English to see what is actually going on with Kamila. For those that don't know who Kamila Valieva is, she is a figure skater. She was caught doping in 2022. She's known as a phenomenon, a talent in Russia, and is probably the most gifted girl in figure skating. She's known as the ballerina on ice. But unfortunately, she was tested positive for doping, in which a whole scandal broke out, and they disqualified a 15-year-old girl for 4 years. They banned her, and officially her qualification has came up 2024, and now she's back on ice skating. Now, she is known to be a skater for Teritoperitsa. She skated there for a very long time, was known as the prodigy of Teritoperitsa, and was one of her favorites. But after the ban, because the whole doping scandal really unraveled and no one really stood up, everything was blamed on Kamila Valieva instead of looking at the coaching team, looking at the people that are involved, the adults around her. No one was investigated properly, and so all the blame was just to her, and they continued to do well, whereas she was the scapegoat in all of this. And so eventually Kamila Valieva took the decision to go to another coaching team and not stay at Team Dobrafon, because she felt like she was no longer accepted, no longer needed. And mind you, this girl is 19 years old. So, a Teritoperitsa cannot sustain a skater earlier 20 years old because of her Eteri expiration date, in which she usually trained young bodies that can handle with this workload and this whole system structure. For Kamila, she knew that she didn't really have the chances of a comeback, and the heavy competition against the 15, 16-year-olds that are in the Eteri camp right now, she needed full attention on her and probably a more personalized training in order to come back fully to the sport. So she moved to Svetlana Sokolovska, which is Nafka's school. Now, Tatiana Nafka has an ice show in which Kamila Valieva was fortunate enough to perform. There wasn't a lot of outside work that she could do, because with the ban came that Valieva could not skate in any state-sponsored skating schools, skate rings, trainings, and so she was fortunate enough to actually go with Nafka's and skate there for the tours, for the ice shows, and really keep up with her training in terms of private, because Nafka's is mainly for retired skaters. She hadn't had a lot of competitive skaters before. It just gave them a new prospect and a new opportunity to really show herself in a different work. And because she trained with Nafka for so long, she decided to stay in Nafka's school, mainly because of the promotions, maybe because of the opportunities she can gain later, or maybe to pay gratitude for them to support her through this whole journey that she's been since she was banned. In the whole YouTube series, we see Alisa Valieva, which is the mum of Kamila Valieva. Now, she used to train at a very young age in athletics, so she already has the whole athletics genes in terms of that, but she couldn't financially support her lessons because she didn't have a lot of money. Her parents couldn't afford it, and so her dream of becoming an athlete. So when she did have a child, she kind of promised if there was any perspective, any gifts, then she would give her all in order for her child to follow her dreams into doing what she wants to do. Svetlana Sokolovska, which is now the coach of Kamila Valieva, really saw Kamila Valieva early on, like since she was very young. And this was back in Kazan in her first coach called Natalie, and they were really good friends with Svetlana. And Natalie would always kind of boast, kind of emphasize that Kamila is really respectful, that she's really gifted, that figure skating will the world will discover her and her talents, and she's just amazing. And everyone was kind of in awe of Kamila Valieva. Marc-André, which is a really good friend of Kamila Valieva, now skates at the same school as Svetlana Sokolovskaya. They have the same coach. He's a male single skater and he is very talented, but they have a really special bond because Kamila Valieva and Marc-André, they have kind of been similar competitions, have the same training kind of schedules. They've crossed paths multiple times and they really started their friendship back in 2020, 2 years before the Olympics, where they really started seeing each other at competitions, being at the same rooms, training together. And a year later, before the Olympics, really they were made at the same team. They really spent a lot of time together, and at 2022 Olympics, they were kind of sharing the same rooms together, with the boys and the girls separate, but they would all meet up in one room, play cards, have a lot of fun because they were similar ages, and that's when their bond really grew close. And when the whole situation happened, when Kamila tested positive for doping on the 11th of February, Marc-André was really supportive of Kamila Valieva. He took the initiative for her to be close to him, that he would be that person where he would try to distract her, he would try to play Legos with her, he would try to spend as much time with her, and their bond really grew close. Tatiana Nafka also found Kamila, discovered her from a very young age, because Julien, a choreographer, was in these performances, he was looking, and he just was in absolutely awe of Kamila Valieva. He loved her programs, he really saw her perspective gifted girl, and he would talk to Tatiana Nafka about it, saying that she's really good, like Kamila Valieva is going to be a star in figure skating. And that's how the name Kamila Valieva really involved in the whole figure skating community, really, before even her popularity and her rise in fame. And she's very different from other skaters. She has the clean lines. She's a ballerina. She's breathtaking. She has so much charisma, so much passion, feminism, and is just beautifully, aesthetically pleasing. That's what really sets her apart, and she demands attention on you when she skates, and all you see is her, and that's the energy that she brings to her skating. But the mum, because she always wanted to support her daughter through the trainings, she never actually was fully present with her trainings because she worked full-time. She didn't have a lot of time to spend with Kamila Valieva, and that forced Kamila to grow up quicker, but also the coaches were doing their job and the mum wasn't really interfering with that. And so she doesn't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it raised Kamila into being the girl that she is now. And the independency really sparked in her because she's very mature for her age. Kamila Valieva is born in Kazan, and at 3.5 they went to nursery. But at the same time, she really developed problems with her health, particularly always suffering colds, flus, and bronchitis. The doctors recommended to go and try a winter sport, maybe figure skating, to try and heal and get her better in shape, as well as healing that immune system and getting it stronger. So the mum really tried out figure skating. At first, Kamila Valieva really struggled. She couldn't land on those skates. She struggled to walk, constantly kept falling. The next day she would get temperature. But slowly and slowly they developed the immune system and she got better, and she was doing elements that at 5 years old probably they couldn't do. So she was training at a much older age. Competitions began and she was doing quite well. So usually the training system was completely different. The mums said that routine was at 6 a.m. they had an early training, then she would put Valieva into nursery, and then during lunchtime she would take her back to trainings, and then afterwards back to nursery. and then back to training. So it was just always constant training, nursery, training, nursery. All the coaches that at that age said that she was very perspective for her age and that she should continue because she has an absolute gift for figure skating. Unfortunately, the mum didn't have a good relationship and it ended up in a divorce. So Kamila Valieva's parents are split. The mum is alone and she raised her as a single mum for many years. They don't really communicate with the dad at all as far as Kamila, but the parents of the dad, the grandparents, they're so supportive. They really love the mum and Kamila Valieva that they said even with the divorce, they'll still help out. They helped out when the mum had to work. They dropped Kamila Valieva into trainings. They would pick her up. They would attend the competitions. They were one of the biggest supporters for Kamila. But the mum never forced Kamila to ever skate. All the decisions really came up to Kamila whether she wanted it, because the mum really wanted to teach whether you really love it, that's your passion, you should go. If you don't like it, then don't do it. And you shouldn't be forced into it. And that's how it kind of structured around it, that you can spend hours on it without even thinking about it. Now that Kamila Valieva trains in NAFTA school alongside Svetlana Sokolovskaya, which is the same coach as Mark Conductor, the bond between Kamila and Mark have really grown, and Mark really wanted to show his support to Kamila, especially during the ban. She performed a piece called Dancing on Ice, and he wanted to create something similar to show support into his program. So he tried to develop a choreography piece, a performance, contacted Kamila to say whether she approved of it, whether she liked the idea and the concept and she was behind it, and that he skated it full out, which was very much appreciated and Kamila really liked it. As we know, during that period, probably the beginning of the ban, Kamila Valieva gained a lot of weight, and the weight really carried through, not physically, but also it showed mentally, because she was mentally struggling, and the physical eating probably developed it more because she was in a very much stressful situation. And so she had to get herself physically in form. When she performed at NAFTA shows, she found it more difficult because she struggled with her weight. And thankfully, she pulled together. She hired personal training. She's worked really hard, and over the past few years has now gained into an amazing form, and we can see her. She's doing so well, especially with those quad jumps. She absolutely loves training and now has a meaning to do it because she never really stopped training. She just didn't have the facilities to train. They didn't allow her to state-funded schools or ice. She had to hire coaches in order to skate and couldn't be with her coaching team, of course. When the decision came that Kamila Valieva wanted to transition coaching and didn't feel like she was much needed in Eteri Tuberice, it came in a full shock to Tatiana Nafka. She was like questioning it 100 times. Are you sure? Because the system that Eteri creates is very specific, it's very different. And when a skater is used to skating for many years under one system, it's hard to transition, it's hard to develop. But Kamila said she's taken the decision, she's analyzed it, she's ready to train, she's ready to try new things and to see what it's going to be. Svetlana Sokolovskaya really wants Kamila to feel supported, to feel loved, and to know the meaning of why she's skating and to continue her passion through and through, because that passion will ultimately lead her to the success that she wants to have. She's a very much aesthetic person, and obviously they want to build that in the inside but also on the outside. People love her a lot, and her support, her popularity all needs to be maintained. She's 19 years old. For some, she's very mature, but Svetlana Sokolovskaya said that she still sees a child in Kamila Valieva and that she needs to be protected. She wants to make sure that she feels safe and that she's not feared, and she has the freedom to decide about her trainings and the freedom to do what she loves. I really hope you guys enjoy this interview breakdown. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe, comment down below, and I will see you in my next video. Mwah.